Hello, my art-loving friends. Let me show you the new supplies I have that I want to make sure you have seen before I put them away on the shelves, because then who knows when you'll see them again. You know, that's how this works. When we put things away, they're a little bit out of sight, out of mind, but there's some very exciting things, so let's get to it. Here is the stack of new goodies that I want to show you before I put them away, but let's start with the thing on the bottom. Because Supervision had their 48 set of watercolors for 50% off on Amazon. This gives you 48 5mm tubes for around $70. That's a really good price, and aren't they beautiful? Anyway, I'll have a separate video of these because I did use them already. Well, kind of. I just made a palette and swatched them and all of that good stuff. But that is a new purchase. I had an Amazon gift card I used, so no money out of my pocket. It was all gift card money. And then this beautiful chocolate tin is from my grandma/great-grandma's house. And I set all 48 watercolors up in full pans, labeled them all, squeezed them into all these pans, and that took 5 hours. Lucky for you, I did not video most of that process, so you don't have to sit through all of that. Anyway, they're beautiful. We'll try them. That'll be coming up. The next thing is I bought these watercolor brushes from Craftimo because Kattvalk, Marie Nilsson, is one of my most favorite artists here on YouTube. I often buy something from her every holiday season, and I showed you the calendars and stickers and stuff I bought from her in the video here that I'll link for you. It shall be in the description box below. Anyway, she released a brush set. I don't need watercolor brushes, but I love her artwork and I wanted to support her, so I bought her brush set. And I'll just try and replace some other brushes I have with these. They're all round brushes ranging from size 2 to a round 18. And she has some fun colors, purple and teal on here. And this is the biggest one, which I think will be very fun. They still have their sizing or glue on them, if you will. Little print. So I will put these into my daily practice here in the studio. The next thing I have is Sennelier Gouache. This is actual gouache, so reworkable with water gouache. It does not dry permanent. This has been released over in Europe and all of that area probably for at least the past year, and it was only just released in the US, so I was able to use one of my Dick Blick gift certificates that I received for Christmas and my birthday to purchase this. If I'm remembering correctly, it was about $134, so I think I only have about $15 left on one of the gift cards, or at least that's what that purchase totaled. I can't remember if the paper I bought was part of that or not, but I did buy some hot press watercolor paper that was on clearance in full sheet size, 22 by 30 inches. But anyway, this stuff is expensive, but I really wanted to try it. I had gift cards. I used them. And then probably the most special things are these two items here. My friend just really got into journal creating, and you can see handmade by Katie. If you want one of her journals, I will put her email address below. She does not have a storefront, but if you email her, she can get you one of these. So I don't know what her price publicly will be. I felt the price I gave her was very reasonable for these. This is a leather-bound journal with Arches watercolor paper. This is cold pressed paper, 140 pound in here. Lots of fun pages, several signatures, 4 signatures, with a little handmade button. And then I also wanted to try this one, which was not Arches paper. Apparently you have to be special to get that one off. There we go. Not too special, just anyway, I liked the darker leather, and this is just, the cats are growling each other. One's in the window, one's already in the window. Anyway, this is not Arches paper, but it is super thick, rag cotton paper. So I have no idea how it will be, but it looked really fun and I wanted to try that. So again, if you want one of these, I'll put her email address below. She makes this size, which is about 4.5 inches by 5 inches. And she makes a bigger size, which will have watercolor paper, or you can choose just journal paper, which I thought about getting one of her journal ones from her. Problem is I have so many notebooks and stuff already. Anyway, did I need another sketchbook? No. Are these irresistible? Absolutely. Plus, they're awesome and they're like a feel-good thing when you use them. Kind of like a treat. There are not very many colors here, just 10. But I thought we could try these Sarah Burns gouache travel brushes while we were at it, which did not get a chance to use at all while I was on my trip. So just seeing what we have. I think this number 6 flat is going to be my brush of choice today. Just push it in the end there. It's just a Canson XL watercolor sketchbook. Look at that, a page just waiting and ready for this. There's a white in this kit, so I will prep an area for white coverage, but we will give that a moment. And we will use this primary yellow. We're not going to be able to tell anything about these paints just by swatching other than how nice the colors look. But it's still kind of fun to at least dig them out, give them a try, see what we think. We'll make bigger swatches except for the white. Yeah, I've swatched a lot of things, so they seem quite nice. The difference will be in the layering, because I actually found with the Artex gouache, I think it was Artex, was it? Yeah, I think it was Artex. It was actually easier to layer and whatnot than the more expensive Daniel Smith gouache, so found that kind of interesting. You can see that one went over my finger. Got quite a bit of that. The first one was primary yellow, PY74 and PY184 with a light fastness of 2. And I think the light fast rating that Sennelier uses, 1 is the best. This one is Sennelier Red, pigment PR254, light fastness of 1. It's showing up a little more orange on camera than it actually is. It's pretty much a solid red, like a red you would think of as a red. And I know this is going to be uneven, but we will put the quinacridone red over here anyway, PR170. And I will be trying these out in paintings coming up here relatively soon. The next couple weeks up to 8 weeks max, because I have a rotating schedule now that works really well. Ultramarine blue is our next one. It's hard to get just a little bit out of these. Luckily, these are 21 mil tubes. It's kind of nice. You have a big enough tube that you don't feel terribly precious about it. So that is a bonus. Typical ultramarine blue, very transparent. Just is what it is with those ultramarines. Those and the yellows are usually pretty transparent. Next up is Phthalo Blue PB153, only partially exploded. I'd say the nice things with these brushes so far is they don't feel like they're loose at the connection point at all. That would be frustrating. All right, another very transparent color, although I did have way too much water in my brush, so we can't judge it yet. They do have transparency ratings on them. This one actually says it's opaque. So definitely, if that is true, I used way too much water. Although I see here the ultramarine says it's opaque as well. I would disagree with that. We have Viridian Green, which says it's only semi-opaque. So let's see. That was a lot of paint, unfortunately. This brush is long, and that's awesome for so many things, but it's also very soft. So I can't really push on the paint to spread it out like I normally would with a more firm acrylic type of brush, but that was just my own choice of brush today. Okay, I don't think that's any more transparent or whatever than the others. And that was a PG7 light fastness of 1. This is yellow ochre, PY42 light fastness of 1. This says it's fully opaque, and it should be. Yellow ochres usually are, even in watercolor, or often in watercolor. You see how soft the brush is? It just won't let you really push on the paint without a lot of work. Definitely more opaque than some of the other colors so far, which is what I would expect. These paints are quite firm from the tube, so having a brush where you can have a little bit more of a firmer touch would probably be of benefit. So using your softer watercolor-like brushes might not be to your benefit. Getting something more for acrylic would be better. Until they get watered down, of course, then they're fine. Burnt Sienna, PY42 with PR101, light fastness of 1, says it is fully opaque. Which it does definitely look fully opaque in its non-watered down form, which is to be expected, of course. Then we have Mars Black. Interesting, they have a PBK11 in here. That is normally very granulating black, at least when mixed with a lot of water. So we will do it a little more thin, maybe, than normal. It says it is fully opaque, but I have a lot of water here because I want to see if this PBK11 has a lot of granulation or not. Okay. We'll let that one just kind of marinate while we test the white. Titanium White, PW6, fully opaque. That seems pretty good. My brush obviously had some water in it, and it's not firm like we've already talked about over and over. But there you have kind of general everyday use of the white. Pretty good, I think. Here it is dry. So yes, that Mars Black has some granulation, which is nice. I didn't dilute out the ultramarine blue enough to see if it has any, but maybe it does. Dry swatches, Sennelier Gouache. Super fun. Well, those are some new products that I had to put away before I could finish my studio redo. But I do have these R&F drawing oils. I did send one back, never received the third as a gift, but my niece says she has them both. I just haven't seen her yet. So these will be coming up in some kind of video in some experimental form or another. But that is it. That is all. Other than these things, I just used my gift cards and it was super fun. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. That is a cat that was growling. That's my Molly. She's a rescue. And that fuzzy ding dong was the one trying to get in the window. And why are both the cats right here? Because this is a heated pad that I like to use for my mouse and keyboard so my hands don't freeze when I'm editing videos. Well, the cats take it over and it's hard to find any room for my hand when I'm editing videos. But anyway, she wanted the window. She has the window. She's still growling about it. because cats. Where'd you come from? Where did you come from? Beats me.